So we're here today to honor a very special gift to the NCTR, and I've done a few events for the NCTR over the period of time that the NCTR has been gifted to our campus, and that we are walking alongside the legacy of reconciliation and the Truth and Reconciliation Commission on this campus. It's very meaningful for me to be here, and I'm thinking a lot about my father today. For those of you that may not know, my father was the late Murray Sinclair Ibon, Mijana Gijik Ibon, who of course helped shepherd, bring forward, drive much of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission alongside Chief Wilton Littlechild and Murray Wilson. And the NCTR was a vision that came out of survivors. That survivors said that not only is the NCTR a place for our stories to live on, but to not just commemorate, but also lead us forward in a path of reconciliation for the country. My father's vision for why the University of Manitoba and other affiliated universities and programs that would work with the University of Manitoba to drive forward the issue of reconciliation was very much one of archival research, also community-driven responses, education, and leadership in the area of reconciliation, really to be in many ways a light for many who are thinking about what reconciliation means, and to help guide the country, and for all of us who are doing grassroots work. Today's announcement shows the progress that we are making towards the TRC's and the survivors' vision, going all the way back to the many survivors who fought so hard to have the settlement agreement in 2006, the apology in 2008, and the beginning of the process of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission from 2009 to 2015 with the culmination of the 94 calls to action. So today is a very special day for survivors, and we always must think that it is the survivors who gave us the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. It is the survivors who demanded, called upon, and then asked and gifted us the opportunity to be here for today. So beside me right here is the Bentwood box, commissioned in 2009. The box traveled with the TRC throughout Canada, where survivors, allies, witnesses, honorary witnesses, place personal items into it to symbolize their journey toward healing and expressions of reconciliation. And so today it is here to stand as a source of strength and a lasting tribute to survivors and the vision of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and the NCTR, the National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation. Here also are with our Squabewas over here. Big miigwech to our Squabewas. Give them a little round of applause for our Squabewas, who's making sure that the work the Eagle staffs that are here embodies the principles of governance, responsibility, and community well-being, and they also represent the strength, resilience, and spirit of the people. The Eagle staff was presented to the TRC commissioners at the very first national gathering in Winnipeg, just down the river here, over in Nestawaya, also known as the Forks, where the rivers meet, and in that spot by Pat Erlington Jr. and the Reconciliation Walkers offered that Eagle staff to the TRC. So to formally and traditionally open today, I invite one of our great elders, one of our libraries, one of our entire universities, to come up, Dr. Harry Bone and Elder Florence Painter. Both of them together give us such tremendous knowledge and belief, and you could not ask for better mentors for all of us in our community, and particularly for the issue of reconciliation.
Miigwech, dinura magnitok, nijib matsik. Gamianish nabem ajinam, sinasotagoi zing. Yurigagi shimini ko isyang. Shikonongo mini nagamononga mi machi amot. Minishkai kitot kitanish nabek. Ubi matsik. Yigabe nagamom. Yigabe and the tago zone. Ngabitagushinaminima. Kagin Kashi Noint. Thank you there very much, Mr. Chair, for inviting us to say a few words. Anishnabe name. Kizis napinikas. Mikinak joinimik. Sagitaw Kong with and beyond them. It is our tradition to speak in our languages, the languages for our people, the languages that the government tried to take away from us, but the Creator, of course, wouldn't allow it. So we're here today. But this morning, I want to thank the pipe, and I want to thank the drummers, the song that they sang, to call in the ancestors that have gone to the next world to come and join us, to be with us, the extra survivors and all that. But today, I think it's a very special day for all of us. That's why we had a pipe ceremony and a water ceremony this morning. The pipe ceremony, as I always say, represents the gifts of our people, what the Creator has given to us, and our special relationship to the land. And in the eyes of the Creator, we're all equal. For us, I think, the pipe ceremony confirms what we already know. We acknowledge the Creator for our faith and our belief system. We acknowledge the land, the water, the air, and all its creation. And we acknowledge all the people here. In the eyes of the Creator, we're all equal. We're all gifted. All of us have been gifted 4 gifts. That's the languages of our people, the teachings of our people, the history of our people, to understand where we come from and where we're going to go. And of course, in our journey in life, whether it's 50 years, 80 years, or beyond. I think for all of us, we're always grateful to be asked to say a few words in the name of our creation, in the name of our storytelling. But I think today, is a very special event as we witness, and we had the very special honor that the Premier joined us this morning to be with us, to be part of the ceremony, as well as, of course, the President as well. I think, it was a great presence for them, so we acknowledge them in here. So with that, then, I'm going to ask my sister to do the invocation and the blessing.
Bonjour, dina magan iduk. Was Oscar Bineshi que Disney Cas Mako dina magan. Kagi game Dianish na be que dao. Ingego bimbi wetchandam. Chip me nabishanan kenin. Chip me wabandaman. Kani ganishkang. Kani ganishkamat. Uma. Ka dying. Imagine me with a me wang kigijep. Chip me zaga so not nen boganan. Okay, we know. I just want to acknowledge the morning that we had this morning. Our Manitoba leadership, not only in education, but also in a political sense, were there to be with us in the pipe and water ceremony. For that, I am so grateful. And I know that we've been really working hard with our own people to be able to lift up the language, because of many of our people have lost the use of the language, but we kept it here and we still have it. So I will do a prayer of gratitude in Anishinaabe when I am from Sandy Bay First Nation, Anishinaabe Kwe. So with that, I will do that. But before I do that, I want to mention we're doing all of this in the presence of all creation. How you somebody do? Kina gego gani ganshkaman mi wetchkip mi go. Kina gego imagagip mi no yang e Anishinaabe yang. Kina nakomigo. Me ingen nashko inan ye. Chip me up on day again, kigish audition. We kagip me nagan siang. And I'm so miss me wetchkip me go. Again sundan among me wetchkip me gum gap me na nagajiang. The sogi shik. Me wetch be me kit again and it's now big on sundan among. Pigo ma be me ayawen. Me wetch ke gap me kit. Mama nan ke gabiakine magego gap me undaji wing gap me odapin aming in em shikion jib me nanday dising jib me nanday ding me watch be kit me watch dina maganin duk kina kizweni minnim kina gibago seni minnim chimamu basaguyung chip mat string onoen kagi shimini goisi wing chip mini shaming mini and gani kagi donish nizimin miigwech
So Miigwech, Elder Bone, Elder Painter, any of you that know their work know that they have raised an entire generation of people all across our community, particularly Elder Bone at the Treaty Relations Commission, and of course Elder Painter with all the different ceremonial commitments, and also with the Treaty Relations Commission. You may not know this, but Elder Painter received the game ball a couple years ago at the Orange Shirt Day game on the field. And I said to her before we started today, I said, the Bombers are looking for a new quarterback. And she said, I got my running shoes on. So there you go. So she's ready to go. The journey of reconciliation and truth and reconciliation on this campus, of course, did not start just with the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation, but started with the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and the fierce work of survivors who led us to this. And someone who has been there for virtually every step along the way, particularly as a Shkabewis, as a helper, as a person who did the frontline work necessary to help bring this center into being, but then also did all the heavy lifting to make sure that it is now the thriving center that it is today, is Stephanie Scott. Stephanie Scott, I've known her for a long period of time as the person who worked very hard to make sure my father was safe and that he was always looking shiny, and that he was also very well prepared. And so not only was I consider Stephanie a person who is a leader, an educational leader in her own regard, but also she is very much a family member. She's like the adopted Sinclair. And so in many ways, Stephanie, I want to give Stephanie an opportunity to speak here as the Executive Director of the National Center of Truth and Reconciliation to say a few words about what today means to the NCTR.
So Buju, good afternoon. Miskwa Nakwadakwe Indigenous Cause Wabashishi Dodem. My name is Stephanie Scott. My family is from Roseau River Anishinaabe First Nation, and I was born and raised here in Winnipeg, Treaty 1 territory. I am the daughter of a survivor. I am a residential school. I'm a daughter of a residential school survivor, and I'm a 60 scoop survivor. I say miigwech to Elders Harry Bone and Elder Florence and Philip Painter for their wise and loving words, and for leading us in ceremony earlier today. And to Erica and Coco, we are always blessed to have you walk on this journey with us. I'm also very happy that Dr. Nigan Sinclair was able to be part of this event, and I say miigwech and blessings to still have you here with us, and out of respect for your dad. It warms my heart to be able to stand beside you on such an important day. Premier Wab Kinew, you have always been here for us since day one, ready to walk with the survivors in the center, and I am deeply grateful to you and for all the leadership that you have shown. I want to express my appreciation to the people of Manitoba, and I want to share just a few words about the symbolic importance of the Premier's announcement today. When the National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation was born from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada, we were given the spirit name Beijing Miigwan. The name means one feather. There is an important teaching behind that name. The eagle flies because it has many feathers, and earlier just now we saw him flying above us. But each individual feather is sacred, and each one must be honored in its own right, and each one must be protected. The same is true of survivors and the truths they continue to share. We know that standing up for the truth is an act of courage, that when survivors first tried to talk about the horrors they had experienced, they were attacked for telling the truth. They were ridiculed, they were harassed, and they were made to feel ashamed. And even today, with all that evidence that has been so carefully compiled and verified of thousands of children who died as a result of those schools, there are still those who want to deny these truths. When given a chance, would erase history from the public record. The NCTR and survivors who warrior spirits guide our work will continue to fight denialism in all forms. Over a decade ago, when Canada issued its full apology for the residential school system, the government said, "There is no place in Canada for the attitudes that inspired the Indian residential school system to ever prevail again." But sadly, the racism and hatred that fueled the residential school system has not gone away. This is why it is so important that we continue to stand with survivors and that we will continue to amplify their truths. The new home that we are building for the center is about upholding that sacred responsibility. The center cares for and has the most complete record possible of the history of the residential school system in this country. The children who were taken away, the families, the communities left behind, we are here to work for you. This means preserving literally millions of documents, including first and foremost statements of survivors. The new home will allow us to bring all this vital collection and sacred items under one roof for the very first time. More than that, our new home will allow us to fulfill the vision of survivors that we can become a global learning lodge, a place where survivors and their families will always feel at home, a place where your children and grandchildren can come to learn, and where together we can build relationships between Indigenous peoples and non-Indigenous peoples that make us stronger, not only as a province, but as a country. Building this lodge is not just the NCTR's responsibility. It is our responsibility, and we must act together to continue to educate this country and shut down hatred. I am moved by the very meaningful way that the province of Manitoba has stepped up to do its part in this journey of truth and reconciliation. And I am grateful for this opportunity to say miigwech. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. With these words, I would like to welcome Premier Canoe. Miigwech.
Hey, bonjour, Nichi, Anishinaabe tok, Ubanakwet nin, Tapasanakweti Bankij Nikazo and Dete Ban. Shigodash Kathy Nikazo and Mama, and Diog Niswe and goes suck. Bejigo Miguan, Tapasanakotonske, Oshkianang Shinakazo. Very proud to be the son of a residential school survivor and dad to 3 great kids. As we announce that you, the people of Manitoba, are contributing $20 million to the permanent home of the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation. This is about the survivors, and that's why I'm proud to stand with Big Bird, Eugene Arcand, here today, as we had lunch and exchanged, hockey war stories. He's obviously got a more storied career than me. He said, I was a sniper. What kind of player were you? And I said, well, I'm a tryhard. So I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going there really fast. But it's about the survivors, but really it's about the young people. It's about making sure that your kids and our grandkids never forget what happened in the residential school, and always remember the courage and the resilience and the strength of residential school survivors. This future home is going to be a great place for learning. It's going to be a great place for ceremonies, and I hope it's a great place for that thing that was deprived for the older generation in our communities, which is time with the family. And I really appreciate that Stephanie shared a bit about the challenge here around what happens on YouTube when people have too much time, and denialism. And let's be clear, the only hoax that's going on is some people trying to get some clicks on some videos that they've uploaded to social media. I remember being at the final event in Ottawa, and I think everybody here was there. Pretty much everybody within earshot was there. And I remember when Murray was talking, and he said, we have to release this report so no one can ever deny. And I remember there, 2015, I was listening to Murray in the front row. I was like, no way. There's no way, after the apology and after the TRC's 6 years of hearings, there's no way anyone will ever deny. And yet, not even 2 years later, you had people in the Senate. You had people in the public sphere, people out there on social media denying the very truth. So let me say this. My dad was taken away from his parents and put in St. Mary's Residential School. He shared a bunk bed with another kid named Migoons, also known as Louis Strong. Louis Strong died in that residential school and is buried on the grounds of St. Mary's. Therefore, my dad, what? Survived residential school. That is the true history of our country. That is not some distant past. That's the man who raised me. And so this thing is real, and we have to remember it. Doesn't feel good. I was, taught to stand for O Canada just like everybody else. It's certainly challenging when you hear about stuff like Kamloops or Migoons that I'm talking to you about today. His name was Louis Strong, too, if anybody wants to look it up. It's all documented. But this is the reality. And I I'm such a great believer in this country. Like, I love Canada so much because you look at the life I've been given. This country took a little boy from the res and gave me the life that I have today. Best job in the world, beautiful family, amazing wife. Anytime I ever sound good, I'm just repeating something I heard from Lisa. So I love this country. But in order for this country to live up to the love that I have for it, it has to be able to confront the truth about where we've been together. And I know that it can, and I know that it has. And that's part of the reason why I'm such a patriot, is because through the TRC and through the response of Canadians to that challenging history, I've seen the best part of this country. And now we need to make sure that the next generation understands it, not just as a history lesson or not just as, you know, something that they were forced to learn in school, but that they understand it on an emotional level, so that the true lesson that every child matters will be transmitted to the future generations. Je suis très content en tant qu'un survivant d'un passionnat autochtone d'être ici pour annoncer de l'appui de 20 millions de dollars par rapport de vous, le peuple du Manitoba, pour cet édifice pour le Centre de vérité et réconciliation du Canada. Apachenji Canada, Kiminagua, Hogoe, Anishinaabe Quake. Nishtana, the Swakwabik. Miigwech, Bizandayik.
As a symbol of deep gratitude, it is our honor to give the province of Manitoba this very special gift, reflective of our center's spirit name that I mentioned earlier today, or One Feather. While every Indigenous nation is unique, we share many fundamental teachings. One of those core teachings is about the importance of reciprocity. When we receive any gift, whether it's from friends or family or new allies or from Mother Earth herself, we give a gift in return. This is how we show respect and how we acknowledge the relationship that connects us. This bronze sculpture depicts a single feather and is the work of an extraordinary First Nations artist, Wayne Stranger. His foundry is at the Peguis First Nation and is the only fine arts bronze casting foundry in Manitoba. I would also like to thank the NCTR staff, and many of whom are here today, and the UM staff who are instrumental in arranging this gathering. And to all the staff for all that you do each and every day for all of the survivors, I say miigwech. I would now like to call up the NCTR's Survivor Circle and Governing Circle, and say chi miigwech to Premier Canoe and to the people of Manitoba.
Yeah. So this is very beautiful, and I actually know Wayne the artist, so that's awesome to see. So we'll make sure it's displayed prominently for the people of Manitoba to see. But I was sharing with the Survivor Circle and Stephanie and her team earlier today that the name of their institution, Beijing Miigwan, it's the same name as my son, who just started university here this year. His name's Beijing Miigwan, Lone Feather. And so it's interesting how things work out like that. It was my dad who gave him that name before he was born, the guy that I was talking about, the Survivor Residential Schools. And then today, you know, this, and then the eagle, I don't know if you noticed, but I think it was a young eagle, eh? Like it was spotted feathers, eh? So it's amazing to see what the survivors are always doing, and it's about the young people. It's about the future generations, eh? So let's work together, make life good for them. Every child matters.
Good afternoon, relatives. I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed, you know, because the job will continue. And we just want to say thank you. Thank you to you. You know, it takes political will for things to happen, right? So I'm presenting you with some moccasins. And you know, before anybody came to our land, this is how we were clothed. From the land, the animals Well, of course, this is all commercial now, but we still use the hide in commercial ways, right? So it continues. So we wanted to present you to also remember that we are a matriarch society. So, and we want to go back to being the matriarchs that we will continue to be.
You're the
And
boss.
Whatever
you want.
Huyanaming ublukun tamapsi. Thank you for inviting me, for being here. I'm from Nunavut. These baby magazines represent children matter. All children matter. I too went to residential school in my time. I too had some experience that are unforgettable, that stay with me. I try to get over that hump because I have over 40 grandchildren, over 20 great-grandchildren. Today, we have a 1-year-old, 5th generation in my time. My husband and I, we celebrated our 60th year anniversary this year. Thank you. And there were times I wanted to wring his neck. I'm glad I didn't. I'd be so regretful. I'm glad I didn't do that. So stay with your spouse and love your spouse, because when you get old, you love him more, you love her more. So, and I'm so glad I didn't come down with my fur outfit, caribou outfit. I would have been, well, most dressed Eskimo coming down here in the warmest weather, coming from one of the coldest climates. So I'm glad I wore these. No, we don't wear those anymore. We have new clothing now. Since the European came, we have different style clothes. Thank you for that. And today, I experienced something very important, very special. I'm a member on governing circle for National Center for Truth and Reconciliation. I've been there 10 years, and I've seen lots of changes and lots of work. And my parents always said, hard work pays off. Yes. Over the past course of 10 years, there have been challenges, hurdles, and good work. We have good team, good support. And today I can honestly say, I think we're working towards a reconciliation with consideration and balance with each other. That's how I feel, and it's a good feeling. So I just hope that we keep continuing on, because we're representing all the survivors that have left us, the survivors that are with us today, and the parents who grieve for their children when they were taken away. So today I want to be very happy with you, along with everybody, that there's a new home that is being built. I was there since with president of university, digging on the ground, and I was lighting my chudlak, and he was there and other people were there, but I remembered him, and he's the one that gave me honorary doctorate in 2011. So I'm very proud of my accomplishment there. So I look forward for the building, because it's going to get us all together as survivors, families and friends and neighbors and everybody in Canada. It's for everyone in Canada. I'm waiting to see it, and I hope I make it to see it. Thank you.
I'm going to explain to my wife that the grandmothers gave us baby moccasins. What's she going to say? No, just kidding. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That's a good one. Is that the photo? Yeah, you know what you have to do.
Oh, yeah.